the revision first. Okay, تمام خلاص بما إنه كله you are free إلا نورة قالت revision, so we start with our revision. طيب. I hope you did study at least from now, since last semester, since last week. لأنه we have some repetitive questions. في أسئلة شوي متكررة. We will solve it again together. Okay, as last time, I will share my screen with you. No, general revision. Mainly chapter 2. لا, حبدأ chapter 1, then 3. If you want 6, we can practice it يعني. طيب. Question number 1. Define each of the following terms. Law of demand. طبعا we had it earlier. كمان قبل كده we asked the same question. What do you mean by law of demand? What do I mean by demand? Hello, صباح الشباب. ترى أنا ما ححل. If you do not study and you are not ready to answer, I will not do anything. Ability to buy certain quantity at each specific price level. Yes, thank you. طيب, scarcity principle. What do you mean by scarcity? وطبعا in law of demand we have an inverse relationship between price and quantity. What do you mean by scarcity? Choice between two options, choose one of them. Yes. No, short supply of resources. Okay, but don't use the word supply. Supply معناتها أكتر بالeconomics إنه we support. We don't have enough resources. Unlimited wants, unlimited resources. Thank you, Abdelaziz. This is the perfect one. If you need something more from one product, then you have to reduce the production of another product. Yes, the same answer of Hania. Okay, thank you. Negative and positive economics. Yes, more for one product, then you have to reduce the production of the second. Yeah, normative and positive economics. What does that mean? Normative and positive economics. Normative states, let me see how people should behave. Okay. What about the positive one? Thank you, yes. One is saying how they should behave. The other one is prediction, how they will do the behavior, what type of behavior they will do. Okay. Number 4, economical surplus. What do I mean by economic surplus? Thank you. A benefit of taking specific action minus action, and we will have our economical surplus. Thank you. So let's move forward to the second question. Second question is a calculation question. It started by, sorry, let me just write this up. The table below contains information about different level of production and the total cost of each level. So I have quantity. In the first column, I have quantities. Second column, I have the total cost. Then they said each level of production and total cost of each level. The marginal revenue or the marginal benefit for each unit is equal to 26. So this is a given that I have to keep it in my mind. Requirement. The first requirement is fill in the missing data in the table above. Yeah. First of all, how do we calculate average cost? We agreed that when quantity is equal to 0, we don't do any calculation. Okay? Yeah, quantity equal to, how do we calculate the average cost? Either, okay, total cost over quantity. Fine. So what is the average cost when quantity equal to 1? I'll just highlight this in red. $35. How much is the average cost in quantity 2? $20. When quantity equal to 0. Sorry, quantity equal to 3. Quantity equal to 4. By the way, for the second one, when quantity equal to 3, don't worry about the answer. If you wrote it 27.6, 27.7, 27.67, preferably 27.7 as a rounding, you're supposed to study it in BUS 101, or 27.67. Don't write it 27.6 or 27.66. Okay, so 29, and the last one is 30. Thank you. Marginal cost. And keep your eyes that most of the common mistakes that I had it last semester is some students used to calculate the marginal cost from the average cost. We'll show you that. Usually, I do calculate the marginal cost from the total cost. It's fine, Muhammad Hassan, even if it's for 1 decimal point, it's fine. But my point is, either write it 27.7 or 27.67. Don't write it 27.6. طبعا هيكون mistake with rounding. Okay, so marginal cost, as we agreed, we calculated. How do we calculate the marginal cost? Change as a formula, it is the change in total cost over the change in a quantity. Correct. So what is the marginal cost of the first unit? All of you agree with Adari? Okay. Please, if anyone is not understanding how we are solving it, ولا وين عم نعطي الأرقام, the numbers, from where we are getting it, just stop. Second quantity, what is the marginal cost of the second unit? Okay. What is the marginal cost of the third unit? Fourth unit? 33, okay. And what is the marginal cost of the fifth unit? Thank you. Okay. طيب. Do anyone have any question? طيب. For the second part of the question, indicate the level of production that satisfy the cost-benefit principle or cost-benefit test. What was the cost-benefit test? ايش main decision, or what is the decision of cost-benefit analysis? How do we look for the answer? Compare marginal benefit and marginal cost, okay. And then, after comparing, what I will do? I do continuously produce as long as the marginal revenue is more than the marginal cost. Then I will stop production. The maximum is when marginal cost equal marginal revenue. Whenever the level of marginal cost became more than the marginal revenue, that means I will not produce that unit. Okay, we get in the question that marginal revenue, in the question marginal revenue, which is the marginal benefit of producing extra unit, is equal to 26. So where should we stop? At quantity 2. Let's see. 26. So yes, I will stop at quantity 2. صحيح. لأن quantity 3, the marginal cost is more than the marginal benefit, which is 26. So I will stop at the second level of production. Great. طيب. Al-Nur company produce and sell. You did not understand part A? What do you mean by part A? Part A calculation, هي calculating the average cost and calculating the marginal cost. This is what it means. Yeah, missing value in the table. الأشياء اللي فاضية، الفراغات اللي موجودة في الطعم، هو كذا كانت التابل. Find the missing value in the above table. بالتابل اللي فوق، جدول اللي فوق في أشياء فاضية عبيها. Okay, fine. Fine, but you did know how. Don't worry, Noor. Just ask me whenever you have any question. But you did get the question. You know how to solve the average cost and marginal cost. Okay, tamam. Let's move to question 2. A Noor company produce and sells schools bag in the market for $12 each. Each extra bag need extra material and labor. By adding labor hours, you can increase level of production as shown in the table below. If the unit of labor costs $10, and if the company wants to maximize its profit, how many labor hours should they use? Again, even if they did not put here the column, how much to produce, we take the decision based on marginal revenue and marginal cost. Keep this in your mind. دايما marginal revenue, marginal cost, or marginal benefit is the same as marginal revenue, it's the same as the price. تمام؟ طيب, so for this, I have to fill in this table, calculate the total cost. After calculating the total cost, calculating the marginal cost out of it, then total revenue, then marginal revenue. Let's start for, طبعا again, quantity 0 as I told you. When in labor hours, I have 10 hours, I have quantity produced. طبعا the question told me in the beginning, I do produce and sell school bag in a market for $12 each. What is this? What does that mean? What do you mean I sell this product for $12? Its price, or thank you. طيب. Revenue, yes. If a labor cost is $10, what do I mean by unit of labor hours cost $10? Thank you. So I'm talking about the cost of production. Okay, let's start solving it. Here at this level, they are asking me to look for total costs. From which column I should calculate the total cost? How do I calculate the total cost? From where I should get the data? So total cost equal. We solved last week similar practice. Times 10. Okay. So what do I do is I look for the cost of production, something I pay cost. التكلفة اللي أنا هدفعها. Thank you. So this is equal 10 times 10, and this is equal to 100. For the second level, $20 times 10. Thank you. So this is 200. Okay, yeah, who said? Abdulaziz. Abdulaziz, the issue is they want me. Did you get the question? First of all, your issue with understanding the question itself or the calculation? This is a new file, Fairuz. You don't have it. They are looking for me. They are asking, I want to fill in this table. To fill in this table, I have to calculate the total cost, the calif. Okay? Total cost is usually the cost of production. Here I have quantity produced. Usually the quantity produced I will sell it in the market. هبيعها. هيجيني الفلوس من هالأرباح. بس labor hours, this is the cost that I am paying for production. التكلفة الصناعة اللي أنا بدفعها حاليا حسب الجدول هي فقط العمالة. تمام؟ They told me in the question that a unit of labor hours cost me ساعة العامل, it's cost me $10. So at this level, I have 10 hours. الساعة ب$10. They are working for 10 hours. So how much is the total cost? I did multiplied the cost of the hour, تكلفة الساعة, times quantity of hours, or how many hours they did work. So that's why it became 10 times 10. The second level, I have 20 laborers hours. How much is I'm paying cost per hour? How much per one? $10. So 10 times 20. Am I clear, Abdulaziz? Okay, for the third level, I would multiply a labor hour, which is 30 working hours, times each one is cost me 10. So this is equal to 300. Then 40 times 100 50 times 10. 600. Okay, we are done by this. Now we have to calculate the second column, which is marginal costs. Yalla, how do we calculate the marginal cost? Difference for the first, it's just 100. طيب total revenue. Total revenue as the إيرادات. So I'm getting money when I sell a product, لما أبيع product. So when I'm selling the product, this is per unit $12. I'm selling it for $12 per unit. At this level, total revenue, that is equal to, thank you, quantity times price. For the first unit, quantity produced, okay, so I will look for the quantity produced, something I will sell. I will not multiply it with the labor hours. Labor hour, I calculate the cost from it only, okay? The revenue, الإيرادات, I calculate it from the quantity produced that I will sell it later on. So for the first one, I have quantity of production is equal to 15 times per unit, I will get 15 times 12 times 12. This is 180. Then type 20 times, sorry, 28 times 20 times يلا سواء 28 times what شباب? How did you find? Okay, 336, but how did you calculate it? Yes, thank you, the price. Okay, then 38. ترى ماشي معاكم ها. You are checking your others works. يلا. The last one is 55 times 12, and this is equal to 660. طيب, what about the marginal revenue? Second one. One, 5, 6. Noor, I will solve another question to highlight for you how do you differentiate. 1, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, thank you. طيب. When should I stop production? Oh, the question actually asked you, how many labor hours should we use? $30 labor hours, which is another word represent 38 quantity produced. Yes, why is that? Then this is the maximum level where the marginal revenue, as we agreed, is more than the marginal cost. After that, this will be less than the marginal cost. Okay, let's move on. Like this one, But let's move on. State whether the following pairs of goods are complementary products or substituted products. Coffee and tea, we already mentioned them. Just tell me, what do you think? Coffee and tea are substitutes and complements. Substitutes, yes. Tennis rackets and tennis balls. Nura, subcomp means what? Okay. طيب car and gasoline. Complementary products. And finally, cloth diaper and paper diapers. They are substitute products. Okay. For the first, another type of questions, so they are similar at the end. Yani we're talking about two chapters 1 and chapter 3 as well. Fairuz, this file, as you can see it on your screen, you don't have it. I answered your question earlier. You don't have this file. Just a random question that I get them. Type. Scarcity principle already repeated. Rational person. What do you mean by rational person? Other than logical. So how is taking the decision based on what? Thank you. Economic surplus, as we just mentioned earlier, it is economical surplus. What do you mean by economic surplus? Thank you. Of a certain decision. Marginal benefit. If you don't say it's a benefit minus cost, it's a benefit of a certain actions minus its cost. marginal benefit equal what? صبايا يا شباب ايش يعني marginal benefit? How do we calculate it? If you don't know the definition, just tell me how do we calculate the marginal benefit? كل شيء marginal, the same concept. Marginal cost we calculate it from difference of the total cost. So the marginal benefit is we calculated difference between total benefit. In other words, it is the additional benefit. Thank you, Abdulaziz. It's the additional benefit added by producing one additional unit. Type. Again, similar question. Yeah. The table below contains information about different level of production and the total cost of each level. The marginal revenue, which is the marginal units, equal $105. Question number 1, or part A. Find the missing value in the above table. As we agreed, when quantity equals 0, don't fill anything. Yeah. What is the average cost when total cost is equal to 60? Type level number 2. How did the girl get 33? 63. Okay, and the last one. Thank you. Marginal cost. Is it 5? يلا next. And finally, okay, second question. Indicate the levels of production that satisfy cost-benefit test. So I have to look for the marginal cost and the marginal benefit. This is the marginal cost column, and the marginal revenue, which is the marginal benefit, is equal to 105. So when I should stop my production? At which level? Third level. Yes, هو the last quantity to produce as when I talk about quantity equal at the third level. Thank you, yes. طيب يلا. Al-Walid company produced and sold shirts in the market for 36 each. So this is what? ايش هي 36؟ revenue or the price, yes. Marginal revenue, marginal benefit, or price. Each extra charge needs extra material and labor cost. That is shown in the table below. If the unit of labor hour costs $30 and the company wants to maximize its profits, as we agreed, maximum profit with marginal revenue equal marginal cost. So I will produce as long as marginal revenue by maximum marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost. How many labor hours should we use? Based on this, I have to look for the decision. Yeah, exactly as done. By the way, you can notice the structure of the questions. Just look for the previous exams that we solved last session, which is last week, and this week lecture. It's the same structure of the questions. So just keep your eyes and focus on them and come for your exam, inshallah. طيب. Total cost as equals 0. We keep on saying يلا. For the first one, the total cost. Muhammad, I cannot tell you yes. Just look for the question itself. يعني for example, they said if they are selling it, sell يعني يبيع. So selling, this is the marginal revenue. Whenever they're saying cost تكلفة, فأنت look for the word. No, I cannot guarantee that they're saying first sell or that. My point is look for the structure of the question in نفس الgiving, نفس الطريقة theme that you can know that you can solve this exactly because it look like similar, so mostly it's the same. But no, not necessarily والله بالأول price then the cost. طيب, sorry. So this is first of all قلنا 300 sorry. Then marginal cost. Thank you. Okay, total revenue. Calculate the revenue based on what? Based on the price that I'm selling it, but as a formula, it is equal the price times quantity. So what is quantity? Labor hour or quantity of production? Which quantity I should look at? 15 times 36, yes. So I'm talking about the quantity produced. So 15 times 36, and this is equal to, sorry, okay, so who did the mistake? Shahab or Muhammad Hussein? Okay. Then 38 times سحاب. Okay, sorry. سحاب وعذاري انتوا المفروض تكتبوا اسماءكم بالعربي ترى، مو انا اللي غلطانة. يلا let's go ahead. 54 times 36. Okay. تمام. Marginal revenue. How did we calculate it last time? Okay. Okay, 316 then. Okay, thank you. So now our question was how many labor hours should we use? How many labor hours should we use? Thank you. 30 labor hours, which is at this level I have the marginal revenue is more than the marginal cost. Why is that? After that حتصير marginal revenue less than the marginal cost, and usually I'm not interested to produce at this level. Okay, thank you. So this one we have a different question. Explain what is meant by supply function. What do I mean by supply? What is the supply function? ايش يعني supply؟ كان عندي the market equilibrium I had demand and supply. What do I mean by supply? No, I'm not talking about demand. I'm talking about the supply. Yeah, Abdulaziz. Yes, producers or seller, I'm able to sell at a certain price, yes. Okay, I'm not saying, so it's the supply side, the producer's side, not the customers. Type, draw a supply function showing its variable on the graph. Again, as we did it last week with demand, How do we draw it? Mainly you have to put vertical and horizontal lines, which are your variables. Thank you. It is an upward sloping curve. And then this is not a complete answer. Huh? I have to fill in the variables. What are the variables? Price on the y-axis, yes, or vertical line. And on the horizontal x-axis, this is what? Thank you. And this curve is, what's the name of the curve? فيروز بنتكلم بسبلاي supply. Okay. The demand is downward sloping. Okay. طيب. And I jumped to part B actually. I just noticed. What is A? Explain what is meant by supply function. After you explain it, you may go in details, and especially it's a take-home exam, so don't expect that you have to answer one word or two words. You have to elaborate. You know what is elaborating? Write details. Yani supply function is the ability to produce at a different level of production, where it is a downward sloping curve. When in the price increase, suppliers will be able to produce more and more as they are increasing with the profit. Okay? No, just elaborate. In case you are able to give example, yeah, any producer, you can just say whatever a producer. Mara'i company is interested to produce more whenever the price is increasing, as it will increase their profit margin. مثلا, STC, Honda, Toyota, whatever. Just mention if you want to write the example. Yeah, you may do it. It's not it's correct. It will be still correct. Okay. Just a minute, huh? I'm just preparing another sheet for you. Type. This is another example. Actually, this is related to chapter 6. Type. Let me just put this plus aside. Yeah. The following table contains data about the cost and its calculation. There are some missing values which you are required to calculate and fill in the table in your answer book. Provide the formula used in different calculations. I will just highlight in red, and whatever we will solve will be in black. Yeah. Let's start. Yeah, how do we start this table? We solved this 2 weeks back. والأسبوع اللي فات اللي قبله. هو okay. The trick, Muhammad, is to start with it. هذا يمكن get out when I start. By definition, when first of all, I'll just pass through all the definition that we are having them, and then we will start solving it. I will tell you how to start with solving it. It started by total cost. We get a formula. The total cost is equal to, I will just write it down. Total cost equal total fixed cost plus total variable cost. I think in your slide it's written like fixed cost plus variable cost. Whenever we produce, we have two types of cost. We have fixed cost and variable cost. In short term, we have fixed cost. Fixed cost exists only in short term. In long term, everything would be variable. What do I mean by this is, in short term, مثلا, I have a contract with an employee that I have contract for 1 year and I have to pay them 5,000 riyal every month. Me, every single month I have to pay it. حاجة ثابتة. After 1 year, I can change this contract and change the payment, so it will be variable. So whenever I read the word fixed cost, يعني في ثابت, that means we are in short term. Okay, so a fixed cost is usually something fixed, such as wages, such as أشياء ثابتة أنا لازم أدفعها على طول. The variable cost is the cost that varied with the quantity produced. What do I mean by that? You can say this is the quantity of raw materials. كل ما صنعت أكتر، كل ما احتجت أكتر raw materials، يعني عندي variable cost أكتر. بس بالنسبة للfixed cost, it is fixed. What do I mean by that? Is whenever I produce more, I remember, I hired you. أنت موظف في شركة. You are getting a contract of 5,000 riyal per month. Regardless, we did produce or we did not produce, you will get your salary. So this is a fixed cost. In variable cost does change with the quantity produced, but the fixed cost is fixed regardless what is the quantity. So total cost equal the summation of total fixed cost and total variable cost. And I just said, the variable cost is the cost of my raw materials. So if I did not produce any unit, ما صنعت ولا حاجة, how much will be my total variable cost يا محمد? I did not produce any unit. So how much I have cost for raw materials is 0. Based on that, I know بما إنه total variable cost when quantity equal to 0, total variable cost equal to 0, then I know by formula total cost equal total fixed cost plus total variable cost. So I can find out my total fixed cost, which is the difference between them, thank you, which is 500. Fixed cost is fixed cost, whatever was the quantity. So whenever I thought fixed cost, so I have to write the fixed cost all over the way. Okay? Later on, we have the question of the average. Average total cost equal total cost over quantity. Average variable cost equal variable cost over quantity. Average fixed cost equal fixed cost over quantity. Okay, keep these formulas in your mind as well. Time. So for the first, when quantity equal to 0, total cost equal 500, fixed cost 500, and variable cost equal 0. What is the average total cost? By definition or by formula, it is total cost over quantity. We agreed when quantity equal to 0, don't solve this part. Okay, انتبهوا على هذه لأنه if you divide ال 500 over 0 حيعطيني infinity. Or some calculators will give you error. Second part. How do we calculate the marginal cost? Marginal cost احنا من فين بنحله؟ من total cost. طيب. If I know that the total cost when quantity equals 0 is 500, and here I don't know it, but I know that the marginal cost was 150. So how much is the total cost here? No, plus Muhammad. Why plus؟ لأنه when I want to calculate the marginal cost, I will look for the difference. هشوف الفرق هطرحهم من بعض. فتصير 650 minus 500, this is 150. Okay, not the opposite. طيب, so I calculate total cost equal 650, fixed cost equal 500. How much is the total variable cost from the formula number 1? Thank you. Average total cost equal total cost over quantity. So this is divided by 1. I will have them the same, 650, 500, and then 150. Time. It's second row, when output equal to, I have variable cost equal 300 and fixed cost 500. What can I find? I can calculate what? Thank you. Total cost, which is 800. تمام. طيب, then this is direct. Average total cost equal. Thank you. Average fixed cost. Average variable cost. Thank you. Marginal cost. تمام. Yeah. When quantity equal to 3, I have the total cost and fixed cost. So can I find the total variable cost? Thank you. طيب, will average total cost, how much is the average total cost? Okay, average fixed cost. ما عندي إلا أعذاري ومحمد, خلاص الباقي كله طفش نام. يلا, where are you guys? then average variable cost Muhammad, do you agree with Adari? دول أنا ماشي معاكم. Did you get the same number? This is the variable cost, the TVC. Total variable cost is the same as variable cost. كتبتها في المعادلة رقم الأول. Total fixed cost هي نفسها fixed cost. Total variable cost is the same as variable cost. Marginal cost equal to 250 صحيح. Okay, next in level 4, when quantity equal to 4, I have fixed cost 500 and I have average total cost equal 400. Average total cost is available in which formula? How did you get it, Muhammad Hussein? Thank you, صح. لأنه average total cost equal total cost divided by 4. So how I want to get it is usually I do multiply it by 4, which is 1,600. And my variable cost will be? Adari, make sure that you have good calculation. Okay, طيب تمام. Average fixed cost equal fixed cost divided by quantity, which is average variable cost okay. طيب. The last part I have when level quantity I have fixed cost 500 and average variable cost equal 3. So I have average variable cost. I can calculate the total variable cost. How much is the total variable cost? Thank you. Then the total, if I have total fixed cost 500 and total variable cost equal 1,500, so how much is my total cost? عداري ليش لخبطتي؟ We add them together. Thank you, Noor. It's okay. يلا. Average total cost equal total cost over then average fixed cost equal fixed cost over 100. Okay, and finally the marginal cost equal to thank you. Okay. There is, by the way, one formula that's not written in your I don't recall it is there in your PowerPoint, but you have to just taking from the first one, which is total cost equal total fixed cost plus total variable cost, or fixed cost plus variable cost. It's called an average total cost is equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Okay, it's the summation of it. The average is, as what I'm saying, total cost equal total fixed cost plus total variable cost. The same for the average total cost. It's equal to the average fixed cost plus the average variable cost. Yes, it is there in your book, but we didn't mention it on the slides. Okay. Question number 2. Explain the impact of each of the following factors on the demand and or supply curve of T. So number 1, I have 4 points A, B, C, D. Okay, each one I will say it will affect the demand side or it will affect the supply side, and then what type of effect? Is it increase or decrease, shift, movement, and so on? Okay, am I clear? We will decide number 1 on which side this factor will affect. Is it on the demand side or the supply side? And what type of impact? Increase, decrease, shift, or movement? Okay? يلا صباح يا شباب. Explain the impact on each of the following factors in demand or supply side curve of the tea. So I'm talking about the tea production, صناعة الشاي. Okay, Adari. أول شيء you will read the factor. Okay, is this factor is affecting demand or supply؟ هل هو بيأثر على الطلب المنتج أو على تصنيعه؟ يعني هل هو بيأثر على الكاستمر اللي بيشتري هذا المنتج or it does affect the producer اللي بيصنع المنتج. Then we will discuss what type of effect. هل أثر على الكاستمرز إنه على الطلب أو قل الطلب، أو على أثر على المصنع إنه يصنع أكثر أو يقلل التصنيع. وآخر part حنتكلم will it lead to a movement or shift. We studied that in chapter 3 that there is only one factor that will lead to movement on the curve. أمشي على نفس الخط is the price of that product. Other than that, any change on the price of the product, change of price will lead to any other factor, a factor other than the price of that product will lead to a shift of the curve. Okay, so let's start by a tea production. The price of coffee increase. The coffee is what? What's the relationship between coffee and tea? إيش علاقة الكوفي مع التي؟ Thank you. Substitute. When the price of substitute increase, what will happen? Demand will decrease of what? Which demand will decrease? Demand on what, يا عذاري? Thank you. Yes, coffee is a substitute for a tea, so that will lead that demand will decrease for coffee, but the demand will increase for the tea. تمام؟ أنا لازم أجاوبه بالنسبة للتي عداري، لأنه هو السؤال عم بسألك إيش التأثير على curves of the tea. فأنا لو كتبت في الجواب a coffee is substitute for tea so demand will decrease for coffee, you will get a 0. Fine? You have to relate it. Is it for the tea? So yes, demand will increase for the tea. So will it lead to a movement on the curve or a shift on the demand of the demand? Shift. Thank you. الشيء الوحيد اللي حيخلي movement الكيرف على الكيرف تبع التي هو سعر التي. price of the tea إذا تغير هو حيخلي لي movement. غير هيك أي حاجة تانية حتولي to a shift. So then I will have demand will shift demand of tea عشان كمان نكون دقيقين. Demand of tea will shift to the right side. طيب the price of sugar decrease. Complementary product متمم. Thank you. By creating a shift يا عبد العزيز or movement on the curve. يلا will lead to shift or movement. shift يعني الجراف كله حيروح على اليمين إذا زيادة إذا demand أو shift كله الجراف كله حيتغير على الشمال. درسناها بالchapter 3 و this is included باليوري quiz 2 by the way. quiz 2 معاكم chapter 3. الديمان أي فاكتور بيتغير بيأثر على الديماند غير سعر المنتج حيعمل شيفت. سعر المنتج لو تغير حيعمل لي موفمنت على نفس الكيرف، حنتقل من نقطة A لنقطة B على نفس الرسمة. اوكي؟ أي فاكتور غير سعر المنتج يعني سعر لو قال لك change in price of tea حقول موفمنت، أي شيء ثاني تغير حنقول شيفت. اوكي؟ So this one price of the sugar change مش price of the tea، price of the sugar that changed. So that lead demand of sugar will increase and so demand for tea will increase and that will lead to shift of demand curve to the right. القاعدة إنه أي فاكتور بيأثر على الديماند والسبلاي، أي فاكتور بغض النظر إيش هو، طبعًا إحنا بنحدد هو بيأثر على الديماند أو سبلاي في الأول، بعدين نقول التأثير. أي فاكتور غير سعر المنتج نفسه حيعمل شيفت. إذا زيادة حيعمل shift to the right الكيرف إن كان demand أو supply، وإذا بالنقصان حيعمل shift to the left. بس سعر المنتج نفسه لو تغير حيعمل لي movement على نفس الرسمة. يعني if I will recall at chapter 6 حوريكم بس الرسمة عشان تتذكروا الموضوع، لأنه هذا ما معكم بquiz 2 صراحة ماني عارفة إيش هتيجي الأسئلة، بس this is for quiz 2 material. اوكي equilibrium هي كانت بعد الاكويليبريوم. This part movement on the curve اللي هي moving from point A to point B. انتقلت على نفس الرسمة. نقلت من لما كان السعر for example السعر كان price كان $1 so quantity demanded was 10. When the price increased to be 2 then quantity demanded decreased from 10 till 4 till 8. So in other words in the curve على الخط تبعي أنا انتقلت من point B point A إذا عِلى السعر، وإذا نزل السعر أنا نقلت من A لل B. This is what I mean by movement on the curve على نفس الرسمة، لأنه السعر هو factor موجود عندي على ال Y axis. Okay؟ any other factor بغض النظر إيش هو بيأثر على demand. أي factor بيأثر على الديماند غير السعر المنتج نفسه will lead to a shift. If increase, demand will shift to the right. If decrease, the demand will shift to the left. حينتقل على اليسار. Okay? This is the point. Price change will never آخر جملة مكتوبة. Price change never cause a shift in a demand. سعر المنتج نفسه will not lead to a shift. The same for the supply. Any factor that affect the supply will lead to a movement, will lead to a shift in the supply curve other than the price of the product itself, which is here. هنا نفس الشيء. Supply the same concept. If price increase, I'm moving from point A to point B. So quantity is increasing from 8 to 16 on the same curve. But if any other factor other than the price of the same product will lead to a shift. Is shift to the right يعني increase, shift to the left يعني decrease. Okay, so let's go back to our practice. This is it now. So that's what they mean. So number one, قلنا the price of the coffee. I'm not saying price of the tea. لو price of the tea ما كان عندي shift. The price of the coffee increase. It's my complementary product. شيء مكمل. Sorry, substitute product. So it's led that people will shift من coffee to tea. So demand of tea will increase and that will shift to the right. The same for the sugar. A new tax imposed on tea producers. في ضرائب جديدة imposed على ال producers المصنعين. So will this lead to an impact on the demand or the supply? First of all. Thank you, Muhammad. Yes. A new tax imposed on the tea producers هيأثر على supply. So supply will decrease by doing a shift or movement. To right or left? left. دايما increase to the right و left decrease. دايما يا عداري movement حرام عليك. I was just saying سعر المنتج نفسه إذا تغير يعمل movement على الكيرف بس. أي شيء تاني بيتغير غير سعر المنتج نفسه هيعمل shift. محمد إحسان even demand no whenever I'm saying a factor that affecting the supply معناته حيأثر على السبلاير بس لما يعمل السبلاي انتوا لازم ترجعوا chapter 3 ترى لما يعمل السبلاي shift to the left حيصير عندي new equilibrium price حتصير equilibrium point حتتغير with a new equilibrium course and a new equilibrium quantity produced. طيب the price of the tea decreased. Price of the tea decrease. demand will increase. عبد العزيز احنا بدنا نتكلم التأثير على التي، ما تجيب سيرة القفل. احنا السؤال كله من الأساس كان عم يسألني على الفاكتورز does it affect demand or the supply of the tea. فجوابي لازم يكون هو يبي يأثر بالنهاية، بدي أوصل إنه is it affecting demand or supply of the tea فقط. طيب a price of a tea decrease that will lead to movement or shift. أعطوني جواب هيك كامل أشوف. So is it affecting potential price decrease? Will it affect the demand or the supply? يلا voting. عذاري وفيروز ومحمد they said demand. Any other opinions? Supply, okay. Demand. I'm just waiting for Noor and Haifa. They are typing something. خلصوها وأنا حتكلم. It's need to increase in supply as sellers want to sell more. No. Haifa. Because if the tea price of the tea will decrease, we will benefit for the supply. No. What will happen is, I just went back to the chapter. If the price of a certain product will change, that will lead to a movement على demand curve أو a supply curve. صح ولا لا؟ وكانت آخر جملة بالtwo parts قال لك the only factor that will not lead to a move will not lead to a shift on the demand curve is the price. ورجع أتكلم the only factor that will not lead to a shift on the demand factor is the price. So in other words, the change in the price of the tea will affect both demand of the tea and the supply of the tea. هيأثر على الاثنين. When the price of the tea decrease, معناته demand of the tea will decrease. Price of tea will increase, lead to movement in the curve, and the supply of the tea will decrease, movement in the curve. ممكن رسمة شكلكم والله ما فتحتوا chapter 3 مع احترامي لكم حوريك الرسمة. في حدا درس chapter 3؟ طيب طيب so قلنا price of the tea decreased. This is the equilibrium point. كانت quantity is 1000 sorry the price is 1000 and the equilibrium okay just give you the arrow. The quantity is one high equilibrium point. Quantity is 1000 and the the price is 1000 and the quantity is 2 million apartment per day. تمام؟ طيب if price decreases نزل من 1000 became to 800 what will happen as this is the price 800 شو صار في السبلاي quantity كانت 1000 sorry price كان 1000 became to 800 so the quantity of the supply was 2 million and it became 1 million معناته the quantity of the supply decreases. So on the other side the demand price can 1000 and the quantity 2 million. When a price decreases to be 800, so the quantity of demand at 800 is became 3 million. So when a price decreases, quantity of the supply decrease and the quantity demanded increase. But طبعا as we discussed, this is usually something from the government. government impose it وتعملي حاجة بنسميها price ceiling سقف للسعر ممنوع نطلع فوقه. It's usually to protect the customer. بيكون شيء حماية للكاستمر للمستهلك such as البريد الملك necessities يعني الأشياء الأساسية. Okay. Please هذا chapter معكم بquiz 2. Okay. So when the price of the tea decrease, that led that demand of the tea will increase movement on the curve and supply of the demand will decrease movement in the curve and usually no this equilibrium we call it. We don't have equilibrium, this equilibrium, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so watch out. If they said price of the tea اللي هو أصلا كان في السؤال they are talking about tea, so I'm talking about movement. طيب, this is the last question. عشان خلاص I tell you briefly what will happen, what we will have and so on until we inshallah meet after 2 weeks. طيب, based on the information provided in the table below, this is for chapter 6. Which of the three firms experiences economy of scale, constant return to scale, and this economy of scale? This was in chapter 6. We had the three different definitions. Economy of scale, this economy of scale, and constant economy of scale. And that's back, we calculated based on average cost. I will show you the chapter, but then نحلها. This is chapter 6, okay? This is it. Economy of scale, whenever I produce more and the average total cost is decreasing. Constant return to scale is when the average total quantity is increasing and average total cost is fixed, is constant. And average this economy of scale when quantity is increasing and average total cost is increasing. So in other words, I will calculate the average total cost for the three firms وبعدين أقرر. Okay? Okay, so this is my output. I don't prefer صراحة إني أفتح Excel sheet عشان خلص بسرعة. Okay, so I will calculate, insert. Average total cost from 1 average total cost of firm 2, and then average total cost of firm 3. Okay, so I cannot give a word which factors can السؤال. Based on the information, write the three experience, which of the three firms experience economy of scale, constant economy of scale, and this economy of scale. I have to calculate the average total cost and then decide. How do we calculate the average total cost? Thank you. So total cost, this is for the first column. Type. Which company and the firm 101 is it facing economy of scale, this economy of scale, or constant economy of scale? Economy of scale. Thank you, Adari. ليه economy of scale? Because average total cost is decreasing as long as the output is increasing. كمية المصنعة عم بتزيد بس average total cost is decreasing. So I'm having economy of scale. Firm number 2. Average total cost is can decreasing, but then it decreases بس في أول unit and then start increasing. So this is this economy of scale. And finally, this one is fixed. So we call it, this is a constant economy of scale. What do you mean by re-say the order? الانسرز يعني أول واحد كان decreasing average total cost يعني this يعني economy of scale. The second one, this economy of scale. The last one is constant economy of scale. طيب هلا بالنسبة لكويز 2 based on the announcement المفروض الأسبوع الجاي إن شاء الله يجينا يعني خلال يوم يومين توقعوا. إحنا حسب التعميم اللي في السعودية إن شاء الله المفروض خلال الأسبوع الجاي نكون خلصنا كل الكويزز. فأنتوا be ready from now. Study chapter 3. Chapter 3 هو الماتيريال بتاعت quiz 2. Okay? Start studying. It will be the same as quiz 1. Yes, multiple choice through the LMS. Yes. فيروز صوريها please. Okay, so quiz 2 is expected next week in chapter 3. Study chapter 3 and be ready for that. Be quiz 2, yes. But for the final, you have chapter 1, 3, and 6. مين فيروز جريت؟ حسيتكم ضايعين فيه. Please study it. شفت شو يعني؟ A change in the price will lead to what? Movement. Recall them. Go back and study them. Okay, so chapter 2 is expected to be next week. Just keep on checking your LMS. Wait for the Dr. Ibtisam announcement that we will have our quiz next week, inshallah. If not, she will announce it. Yani just expect that you will get the announcement within 1, 2, 3 days by maximum, and we will have our quiz too. It's chapter 3, so study it. Yes, the final will be for هي أصلا يا أسيل when you did the quiz just for information الكويز عملتوه من 10. How much did you get in the quiz؟ كم طلعت لك الدرجة؟ ما طلعت لك من 10؟ Yes 10 في 4 هي 40. حتى لو 7.5 we have a formula don't worry لا تخافي هذا شغلنا انتوا اللي عليكم get 10 out of 10 واحنا نحل الباقي كيف نحسبها كيف المعادلة don't worry بس المهم انتوا حلوا كويس يعني كل سؤال من 4 reality speaking احنا ما جانا اي announcement كيف حتكون تقسيم الدرجات الكويز مع الكويز 2 مع الاتندنس كيف حتتقسم بس monitor just do your best وما عليكم ان شاء الله خير يعني انتوا ضامنين الاتندنس هذا جزء already انتوا ضامنينه فلكم كويز 1 and كويز 2 اوكي كويز 2 I'm told it's chapter 3 so you can study it from now قبل ما تيجي الانونس تكونوا جاهزين هلا بالنسبه للفاينل اوكي I shared with you a file المفروض انتم شفتوه اللي هو THS announcement موجودة على الالمس وعلى موقع الجامعة ونزلت على تويتر نزلت في كل مكان THE اللي هي yes اللي هي take home exam. What do I mean by take home exam? It is the exam that you will it is your final exam معنى تاني. This final exam usually will be for 1 week. في different timing كل مادة لها موعد شوفوا الموعد تبع المادة تبعتكم it will be posted on the system watch out that the time that will be posted جدول الاختبارات اللي موجود they say for example أو ليش for example خلينا أطلع لكم إياه حدا انتبه شاف متى الفاينل حدا شاف متى الفاينل تبعنا did you check the time for the final Yes, but I want to highlight one word for you. عشان لا نخبص. The Economics is saying that this is from Sunday 26 April 26. Okay, this is here. Sunday 26 and معلش أنا معلق عندي بس إنه الفكرة I'm talking about from Sunday April 26 at 12 a.m. So it will be posted at Saturday night. In other words, the due date is May 3rd at 12 a.m. So the due date for you is Saturday at the end of the day. Am I clear? واضح ولا أعيد؟ في الجدول محطوط الاختبار حيكون من 26/4 الساعة 12 الفجر 12 بعد بالليل يعني بمعنى الكلام يعني يوم السبت 25 أبريل بعد نص الليل حينزل الاختبار والتايم due date for you is Sunday May 3rd الساعة 12 AM معنى الكلام لما تيجي الساعة يوم السبت 2 ماي الساعة 11:55 حيسكر السيستم بالليل. Okay, so watch out the time. The time is saying May 3rd at 12 a.m. So you have to submit it by maximum on May 2nd. Am I clear? Okay, just I wanted to highlight this لأنه في students ما انتبهوا لها. They're saying it 12 a.m. so watch out from that. They won't say May 3rd يعني no, the due date is May 2nd. ما تفكروا ب May 3rd أصلا. Okay. طبعا as you know it has 80% إن شاء الله لمصلحتكم. I did تقريبا practice كل الامتحانات القديمة معاكم. study well. طبعا we will meet إن شاء الله مو الأسبوع الجاي اللي بعده بإذن الرحمن. In case you have anything I will be there. As for the quiz again الأسبوع الجاي توقع في أي يوم next week لأنه we have to submit the marks تاعت الأسسمنت. نحن لازم نسلم العلامات ب 16 الشهر اللي هو يوم الخميس. فالكويز أكيد حيكون قبل كده إلا إذا في استثناءات الله العليم. إحنا أصلا في فترة استثناءات. The quiz will be exactly the same structure as quiz 1. Multiple choice questions. Online multiple choice question. إذا في أي تغيير طبعا دكتور ابتسام will announce it بس up to my knowledge نفس الستراكشر. أسيل I don't know. What I'm saying is the quiz will be next week. You is expected to be next week. So keep on checking the LMS for the updates. مبدئيا يس يعني من حيخترع أشياء يا نور إن شاء الله. Okay وبليز study chapter 3 ابدأوا من الآن. I'm telling you ما حيضركم حينفعكم للفاينل. اوكي ادرسوا chapter 3 اللي معنا بكويز 2 لأنه هو نفسه حيكون معنا بالفاينل. وارجع ركز على chapter 1 أساسيات chapter 1 إن شاء الله هو سهل يعني. and chapter 3 chapter 6 بإذن الرحمن. بس okay لكن good luck. again keep your eyes on the LMS to check when we will have our quiz 2 إن شاء الله. أجمعين. يلا all the best good luck وإن شاء الله يكون هذا القرار طبعا لمصلحتكم وصراحة أتوقع إن شاء الله بإذن الله لمصلحتكم حيكون. يلا بالتوفيق see you after 2 weeks إن شاء الله. ادرسوا جمعوا إيش عندكم أسئلة and we will meet again. إن شاء الله. يلا السلام عليكم إن شاء الله.